Welcome back to the channel, yours truly DJ Sound Expression, and today it's all about speakers and making sure that they're matched. Now, one thing that I see a lot of guys do, sometimes it's very difficult to find the speakers that you want. So they end up putting different types of speakers within the same cabinet. That is not really a good practice for good sound quality, because most of the time different manufacturers have different ways of doing things and their performances will be different. So then you end up with a lot of phasing and sound not sounding too right, a little bit uncomfortable. But you just have to be able to tune it as much as possible. You wouldn't get there to the 100%. You will like it if you get it to 50-60%. You're lucky. So my recommendations is try to make sure that you do not mix match speakers within the same cabinet. Some guys will do a simple thing like whereby their subwoofers might have dual 18s in those subs, and their subwoofers will be like, let's say, brand A, which is cool because all of brand A, same model, same specs, same everything. That is cool. And then the mids, low mids would be the same brand, which will be brand B. And then the tweeters or the horns will be the same brand right through, which is perfect, not a problem, because sometimes people prefer different performances of a certain brand for certain frequency range, which is cool. But the problem come along is when you want to mix brand A and brand B in the same cabinet. Problem with that is that the performance of the speakers will not be the same. So then you end up with phasing. One might push a little further than the other, and that could cause the waveform to be slightly off. You don't want to be doing that. And if you have to do that, you try to match the speakers that are similar. Try to get them as close as possible, because sometimes competitors do have brands that can work together. Well, I should say close together, but not 100%, but that would substitute. And most of the time what's happening in this situation, you might be in a country like mine, which is dependent on manufacturers from overseas, and on that day that you need a particular speaker, maybe one of your drivers blow, whatever the case is, you have to go in town and get one, and it is not the exact one because the store is out of stock, and it's going to take a couple days for that to come in, and the event is tonight. So you have to do what you have to do, yes, but you're trying not to match the different brands to make the song, because it usually gives an off song. It's never 100% the way you would like it to sound. And then the amp now that's pushing both of these speakers, the push-pull configuration might not work too well with the amp also, so you don't get a good song at all. So I would always recommend, if it's on the same amp and in the same cabinet, make sure they're all one brand, the same model number, and even try to make sure that the number that you get, the serial number, try to be as close as possible. So if you could get 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, close like that, that is cool. That is cool, because they're coming off the assembly line around the same time. Those usually perform more or less the same when it comes to the performance. Now, understanding the frequency response of speakers is very important, because sometimes you go to events and then you hear the horn screaming at you because they have too much high mids in there. And let me tell you, a horn can't really take that much. That's the reason why a horn driver is so small. It can't really take that much pressure. If you look at the line array systems, the horns are small, and then you get, if it's the dual 15 cabinets with the four high mids, which is 8-inch, those could take a lot more pressure off of the horns. The 8s will take the pressure off of the horns in the high mid area. So don't try driving the horns all the way down to like 1K. No, that'd be just too loud and blurry, and it's just be too much happening. Horn can't take that kind of pressure. So you want to separate the frequencies for each speaker that you have. That is very important, so that they can perform to the maximum that they're designed for, making sure that they stay within their performance rating. That is something that is very, very important. So you want to make sure that the speakers are playing in the frequency range that they're supposed to be. And even like sometimes you have subwoofers. I hear subwoofers with some vocals going on down, and they always be like, okay, Person just don't understand crossover frequencies or anything like that. It does happen. You hearing a lot of vocals in the subs, you know that something is totally wrong. Maybe a little bit of vocals in the low mids to help fill out that low mid area of the vocal. Yes, but not all the way down to the subs. No, it's not right. You don't want a whole heap of mud down in there, confusing thing. Kick and bass down in there. Bass is just a frequency. It's not even a note. It's not even a song for real. You just call it a frequency. So all I can tell you when it comes to the speakers, make sure that the speakers you have in the cabinet that are on the same amp and everything, driving the same frequencies, they are the same. They are matching. If they are not, try to get them as close as possible. Which ones will work together? And most of the time when you go in the stores, they will tell you which ones will work together the best. You wouldn't be 100%, but it still wouldn't be that far off that the audience would feel uncomfortable with the music or anything like that. Make sure you understand your crossover point so that horns supposed to be playing within a certain frequency range. They're playing that frequency range. The high mids, the same. The low mids, the same. And the subs playing sub tones. Don't try to overdo or put the speakers under a strain that is not designed for. It will come up to failure. And then you got to go into and do even more shopping. Don't do that. Doesn't make sense. So you have to understand crossover frequencies and make sure all your speakers are basically same and aligned, and you're good to go with great sound quality. Yours truly, DJ Sound Expression. Just look at it from this perspective. Have a great day, people.